What's up, Bruins fans? I'm here to give you the latest info on your beloved Boston Bruins. This video, I'm going to talk about the Boston Bruins' current RFA, Jeremy Swayman, who's now talked to the media regarding his contract, and the NHL insiders pour some cold water on the $10 million figure that was rumored. If you've been liking my Bruins content, please leave me a like and subscribe. If you've already done so, thank you, and let's get into it. Since the rumor of the $10 million ask, Swayman himself made an appearance on Shut Up Mark podcast and discussed his contract status. Many an insider have been appearing on NHL podcasts giving their take on the contract negotiations as well, and I want to touch on all of it. With training camp a couple weeks away, the hockey talk is starting to heat up, and Swayman is the number one topic if you're discussing the Bruins. We'll get to the Swayman video, but I first want to touch on what Frank Seravalli said on the Big Show on Sportsnet because he pours some cold water on the $10 million figure, which I hope puts some people's minds at ease.
The one that I've heard more chatter about than any of the others would be Jeremy Swayman in Boston. There were some, I would call them erroneous social media reports over the last couple of days that said that Jeremy Swayman was looking for $10.5 million a year. I don't think that's accurate, but I think he was somewhere in the mid eights earlier this summer, and I think the Bruins were in the low sixes. Mm-hmm. I think that's a pretty sizable gap that hasn't been bridged yet, and with the trade of Linus Ullmark, it's obvious that Swayman's such a big part of what the Bruins' future looks like and the stability of their core, because the goaltending has been the backbone of that team. But if you have a philosophical difference on what you think your goaltender should make, and if you thought that with the numbers that he's posted that he was going to be in that range, I can understand why there's a disconnect there, because he's been excellent.
Frank saying that the Bruins are offering high sixes and Swayman looking for around 8.5 makes a lot more sense than what was rumored last week. I've said from the beginning I think the deal will get done, but I think if they're as far apart as this, they will land probably somewhere at 7.5 to 8.5 range. The deals we saw with Saros and Hellebuck don't matter because I don't think they're comparable because they're both at different stages of their careers, and frankly, both are proven starters and earn their big tickets. I'm not saying Swayman hasn't earned a sizable raise, but we must be more realistic with what he might get. The only glaring thing I can see is when Tuukka got his big ticket from the Bruins, he was around the same age, played a little bit more games than Swayman, but had similar numbers. Tuukka took up around 10% of the cap at the time, which would put Swayman actually around $9 million if they use that as the starting point. Swayman very well could have asked for that 10 right off the hop, but that isn't where they are at right now. Now, I'm going to play the Swayman appearance, a clip of it, on the Shut Up Mark podcast, which I'm hoping will give a little bit of light based on what Frank said and what Swayman says here. So it's a little bit less, because originally when we all saw this clip, everybody was thinking about that $10 million ask. But now I want you to think about that 8.5 or that rumored 6 that the Bruins are even offering.
You're in a big point in your career with a big contract negotiation going on right now. No one else really knows what this is like. Your first, presumably, longer contract. What is that like from an athlete's perspective?
If you were to ask me that same question a year ago, I would answer it truthfully, and I would say it's scary. It's a lot of resentment towards people that want you to succeed, and when you're not getting compensated for your endless efforts and doing what you do best, it's a nerve-wracking feeling because it's your family you're fighting for. And the answer I'm going to give you this year is that I've educated myself and that I understand the business side of it all. And it's given me a complete new mindset of understanding the business and how to react to it. I understand the cap is going up and where it will be in years. I understand my comparables and how I can't ruin the goalie market for other guys that are going to be in my shoes down the line.
It's nothing I didn't even think of that.
I went to the School of Business for the University of Maine, so I love the business side of it all. And I studied it, and I love it. I'm doing classes still in Stanford, part of the NHLPA program on business. I know that these experiences I'm doing now are going to help me post-career when I want to be a businessman, when I want to talk about serious stuff, away
We'll
from
give you a
hockey.
job at sideline.
I'm in.
No worries at all.
100%.
That's special. So
Little Pat Mac.
Swayman mentions he doesn't want to ruin it for other players down the line and says he's looking to get that max dollar amount. And honestly, I can't blame the guy. Swayman saying he's taking business classes tells me he's a lot more involved in this contract talks than I first thought. But he and his agent have done their research. Swayman is looking to provide for his family and himself for the future, and I respect that. Swayman continues to say the right things in the media, and so does the team. Montgomery was at an event and said he expects Swayman to be at camp, and I believe him.
I saw Jeremy yesterday at Reborg's golf tournament. Him and I had a great conversation about, what he, about leading, become a leader as part of the Bruins. And I don't have anything to do with the contract situation. That's not part of my job detail. My job is my connection with the players and how we're going to be good this year. And I have no doubt Jeremy Swayman will be a Bruin to start a camp, and we'll be ready to go.
I think Swayman will be at camp. I also think there's no bad blood between the two sides right now. I truly think the Bruins offering high sixes, if true, is a lowball offer, and I understand why they're dug in and not wanting to move. We don't know the full scope of this offer because there could be more to it. There is a new CBA in the future that needs to be agreed upon, and players right now are getting new deals and are asking for guaranteed money. If the players go on strike, they don't get paid unless they have a guarantee. David Pastrnak got $3 million and Charlie McAvoy got $3.5 million. My guess is Swayman is asking for more than this. Maybe the Bruins are offering high six because they have a guarantee of $5 in there, which I doubt. The Bruins are cheap when it comes to guarantees compared to the rest of the teams around the league. Colorado gave McKinnon $12.5 million. This could be a stumbling block on the whole deal, which might be the reason the Bruins are coming in so low. Based on the market, I think 8 times 8 is more than fair for both sides, and I wouldn't be surprised if it goes just a smidge over that. Could the Bruins do what Carolina did with the Seth Jarvis deal and defer some of his money to give him more? Heck, I didn't even know this could be done until the other day, and truly surprised more GMs don't do it. There's no limit to the amount of money a contract can be deferred based on the CBA. And it's reported that the Jarvis deal, they're deferring $400,000 possibly per year and paying in that 9th year of an 8-year deal. But if the number was a lot larger, probably the NHL would step in and be like, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore and try and block it. So the Jarvis deal cap-wise is $7.5 million per year, when in fact it should be $7.9 million per year because he's getting a payout in the 9th year, but he's only got an 8-year deal. Everything about this deal is perfectly legal according to the CBA, and Carolina also did this with the Slavin deal earlier in the year, but no one raised an eyebrow until now. All we know is Jarvis will get a deferred signing bonus on July 1st, 2032. That won't count towards the Canes cap now or even then when he gets the money. Even if they changed in the new CBA, I wouldn't doubt that it would get grandfathered in. Because that payment is technically scheduled for year 9 of an 8-year deal, there is no year 9 cap charge for the Hurricanes. And the cap hit for the Hurricanes over the course of the 8-year deal is charged on what is actually paid out during that time. There are risks here with these types of deals, especially when talking about tax structures and such. But it is way over my head, but these type of deals can be done. I will link some great write-ups about this subject in the show notes. These type of contracts could be doable, but I would think that if Swayman's talks are this far along, it's not something they'd be able to switch to now, given we're so close to training camp. Of note, when Nylander held out with the Leafs, it was him who contacted his agent to get the deal done, and his agent, who is Swayman's agent, was willing to sit out. I truly think a deal will get done, and sooner rather than later. I look at social media daily to see if one is done because it feels like it's so close. What I think is clear is the Bruins are the ones playing hardball right now. Only offering high sixes is they're the ones that are going to have to move here. They did it with Pastrnak, and the Bruins did it with McAvoy. Swayman, Pastrnak, and McAvoy are going to be cornerstones of the Bruins for years to come and should be treated as such. I hope this puts some people's minds at ease because I know when we originally talked about this $10 million figure, people lost their minds. But with the cold water poured on that, we can probably breathe a little easy right now. That wraps up today's video. To stay up to date on all the news surrounding the Boston Bruins, please subscribe and drop me a like. If news breaks surrounding the Boston Bruins, be sure to check out the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you. If you haven't, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. I'll see you next time.